Hello everyone. We're going to continue working on our Twine story. We're going to be adding pictures to the story and to the background today. So from where we left off, we had the person waking up and then eating some different foods. From this option, I'm going to add the following continuation. I'm going to say, after eating your food, and I'm going to say, want to go outside. However, I don't want this to be the option title. It's way too long. So I'm going to do the little straight line down, door 1. Close the brackets. So now I have door 1. If I look at what the story looks like, it just looks like after eating your food, you want to go outside. But again, it shows me that it's actually just door 1, the option. I'm going to add the same outcome for all of these passages. So actually it doesn't matter what the player chooses, they're going to end up in door 1. They're going to go outside no matter what. Alright, so how do I add pictures now? So I want to add a picture of a door to show you what the door looks like. I'm going to start by doing the less than sign, so just a sideways triangle, and say image source. Well, where is the image coming from? Well, it's coming from your URL, and you're going to put your URL there. And then I'm going to do the opposite sign to close the triangular brackets. So this says the image is coming from this website. So let me find a picture of a door. So I go on Google, I look at doors, I found this one door here. I'm going to take this link here, copy. I'm going to put it right between my two quotations, and I'm good. Let's see what that looks like now. Play. And there's my door. Okay. What can you do with this door? Well, depending on the picture, you might want to have it centered. If you want to have it centered, you just got to add another set of triangular brackets and say center, close. And at the end, you just let them know where you're done. So you do a slash center close. So if I compare these two options here, without the center at the beginning and end, so again I just have to add the word center between the two triangular brackets, a slash to indicate that I'm done with the centering command. So let's see what this looks like. Have one door in the center and one door just starting out on the side. So that's the difference between center and not center. What else can you do? Well, you can also change the height and the width. I can just say, well, let's say I want to change the dimensions. Let's say I had a really big picture or a really small picture. So I can say 600 pixels in one direction and 600 pixels in the other direction. So again, I just have to type the dimension equals how many pixels. Dimension equals how many pixels. So let's compare and see. The first one is normal. The other one looks very similar, but is slightly different. What if I change the numbers a little bit more drastically? Let's say I put 100 and 100. So now I have a 100 pixel by 100 pixel box. I run the program again. There's my first one, and there's my 100 by 100. So it's a perfect square for the picture. So you can adjust the picture size and its orientation either on the left or in the center. So image source just puts the picture. If you add center before and after, you center the picture. And within the triangular brackets, if you add the dimensions, you can change the dimensions of the picture. So I don't need to change the dimensions. I think the pictures are good enough. I'm just going to copy this code, copy, and paste it 3 times. 2 and 3. Now every single passage has a door. But let's say I wanted to have different doors. Well, I can just find different pictures. So again, I go on doors. I find this one here. I copy this URL instead. And I just change it between the 2 quotation marks. I erase this URL and paste my own. So now the first one has the wood door. The second one has kind of a steel red door. All right, let's find another one. And here's where there's sometimes an issue with Google Images. So let's say I found this picture, this nice white door here. I copied the code. I go one more time. So I'm going to erase between the quotations and paste. Oh no. I have this really big URL. Will it work? Yeah, it will still work, but it looks very messy now. Because now there's a huge string of letters and numbers for the URL. And that just happens sometimes when you're looking for Google Images. You might just get some URLs that are not very kind of good to use. They're way too long, not very nice. So how can we fix this? Well, there's actually an interesting way to do this. So let me erase that big URL. I don't want something that large. I like having just kind of a one-line URL instead. So I'm just going to copy the code again. What can I do? Well, I want to find a URL for this picture, your URL. What I can do is I can actually save this picture and upload it to Wix. Wix is a website creator. We're not going to be learning how to use it, but what Wix can do is it can actually make URLs for me. So even if I had a picture from your own camera, like your own pictures are not on the internet, they don't have URLs. How could I add my own pictures to my Twine? Well, you're going to go on Wix. If you have an account, log in. If you don't, you can use Google or Facebook. If it's the first time with using Wix, this is the first tab that you'll get to. You'll click Let's Do It to create a website. And then you have the options here. It is actually preferred if you just kind of skip this. We don't need to go and learn Wix. We can just go and create website with Wix editor. We don't have to start a fancy website. We can just choose a template. I look for a quick template. Doesn't really matter which one. Coming soon. Edit. Now I have my Twix page. Now, when I have a page on Wix, what I can do now is I can go to Add, Image, Upload Image, and I can upload any picture I want. So if I had saved this, so Save Image, it would be on my computer. If I have an image from my own pictures, it would hopefully be on your computer, and you can upload them to Wix. So when I go upload media, upload from computer, I already have a picture here of a door. I upload this picture. And what Wix does that is amazing for us is if I click on these three dots here, I now have a personal URL for that picture. Copy URL. What this picture here is a picture that I took of this door, but I added the word welcome to it. So I made it my own picture by kind of modifying it a little bit. So if I compare now, I have three different doors. So let's see what they look like. The first one is the egg sandwich. I go back. I have toast. If I go back, I have the yummy toast. And this one here was my own picture because I took the first door and I went on Paint and I added the word welcome to it. Kind of like a welcome sign. So that way, if you ever have any issues with really long URLs like this picture, all you have to do is save it to images. So save image as. I will go to where I need to. So in this case, I'll find my folder where the pictures are located and save it there. Once I save the image, let me do that quickly here. So save. Let me find where the folder is. And if it's saved, again, it can be from the internet or your own pictures. You can now upload it to Wix and then have your personal URL, which will be much, much shorter than the one we had there. So here I have a picture folder. I will call this door 2. I will save it. If you remember, this URL was super long, but now if I go on my website, Wix, upload media, upload from computer, door 2, I now have my second door, and I can copy URL, go to my Twine activity here, and put the new code in. And now I have the picture of the door without having the huge URL. Alright, so that's how you add pictures. You just got to do image source equals URL. You can center them. You can use them directly from Google. If you have any issues with really long URLs, or you have your own picture you want to upload, you can just use Wix. I found that's the easiest way. Takes 2 seconds to make an account. Just choose a template. Once you're on the template, you don't have to do anything at all. You just have to go to the plus, image, upload image, and then you can just plop your images here, ready to go. So that's the first part of the lesson, where now we have images. The second part, not very long, we just have to add a background image, because right now if you look at all the backgrounds, they're just black screens. That's not very exciting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here at the bottom. I'm going to close this. At the bottom here, and I'm going to go edit story style sheet. Here I can add the following code: TW for Twine, story. So I'm going to affect the entire Twine story. I'm going to put the curly brackets. I'm going to say change the background image. How are you going to change the background image? Well, I'm going to use a URL. What's the URL? Let's find a picture of a house. Inside of a house, this picture looks really nice. I'm going to copy this URL here. Copy. And paste it. Close my quotations. Close the bracket. So I have Twine story, so affects the entire Twine. Background image is going to be this URL. And then I'm going to close my curly brackets. Let's see what happens. Run this. Nice. Now my background is this picture. But again, the picture is too small. So what Twine does is it replicates it 4 times. If it was even smaller, it would replicate it more times. Well, how can I fix this issue? It's not too bad. I can go on story style. Between my normal bracket and my curly bracket, I'm going to add a little kind of extra feature. I'm going to say, how about the background size just cover the entire background? So I added a extra command. What does this look like now? Well, it takes the background and stretches it to, of course, cover the entire background. So if I don't add that feature, it will just take the image as it is and place it. If it's too small, you can see there's all this black space here. It's just going to keep duplicating the image until it fills the screen up. If you don't want a duplicated image, you can just go and put background size cover. Alright, so if I play this, I'm inside the house, I wake up, have an egg sandwich, there's my door, I go outside. Well, I'm outside now, so I don't want to have the inside of the house anymore. The command that I have here changes every single background. If I want to change an individual one, let me add a tag here. I'm going to call it outside. And I'm going to just color code it blue for the sky. So I'm going to do something very similar. I'm going to say, okay, let's copy this exactly as it is and paste it. What I'm going to do differently now is, one, I'm going to find a picture of a sunset. Let me find this picture here. Open image in a new tab. There's my URL for the picture. and I'm going to change this URL. Alright, so now I have two of the same commands. It's not going to work well because I can't have two backgrounds for the entire story. So I'm going to say, okay, if the tags, and I'm put this little curly line here, is equal to outside, then the sunset background comes in. So I added a specific tag for my background. So let's see what this looks like. Over here, we have the house. If I go outside, I almost have it fixed. You can kind of see there's a little bit of an issue there somewhere. So we got to fix that up. So we have the code for the outside, but we have to fix it now. And what I mean by fix the code here is if you look at what's going on with the background, when I run the door, we don't really have the sunset background happening yet. If I were to write something, so I'm just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I run this, the background is just showing up as for the part of the text that's available, so not for the entire background. So if you have some text that is difficult to read and you don't want to change the color of the font, this is a way that you could do just kind of like a different color background for the text itself and keep the background as it is and then add pictures as you go. But I don't want that. I want to change the entire background. And this is a little bit of a kind of coding experience that everyone has. Like the code, sometimes it's not going to work and it's just going to be missing one little detail. And in this case here, what I did is I added an extra space. And that makes all the difference. If I take that space away, that's all I did, and I go to run the code again, now the background is the sunset background as it is. So little things sometimes is going to make a big difference. In this case here, it was just the spacing there. So sometimes just trial and error, retyping things, and might just fix itself. If I add that space there, you just get the background for the text component, but not the entire background. But now I have 3 different images. I have the door for each one here. I showed you how to use Wix to upload your images or upload images from the web that have really long URLs and you want to fix that. And then I showed you how to do backgrounds for the entire Twine story. So this background, every single text here has the same background of inside the house. If you want a specific one, the easiest way is to pretty much keep the code the same, but just add the tag of the passage. So if I change the tag here, if you remember, this was food. So if I change the tag to food, I'll now have the background for food. Oh, unless I typed it wrong. Yeah, it's capital F. So again, capital, and it's case sensitive. So capital F makes a difference. One more time, try it again, and there you go. Now I have a different background. And if I go to the outside, because I took the tag away, it has the house background again. So now you can have a background for the entire story or have individual ones, and the easiest way is just to call upon the tag of that passage, so that way you can change it. And if I want to have multiple, I just can kind of copy the code, copy, and just change the tag outside. I'm pretty sure it's not capital this time, and I can check, not capital. So now these 3 and the door have a background that is different than all the other ones. Okay, so that way now you have the code to linking to other passages and pictures as well. If I go to the home, I can either publish to file from here, publish to file, and I'll get, again, I'm using Chrome, I'll get a HTML file, and if I wanted to send it to someone, I can just send this link. They can import it from file to see the actual Twine story. If they click directly on it, it just opens the story. So it just lets them play the game. So the person doesn't have to have Twine to play the game. As long as they have that HTML code, they can play the game as we have it so far. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.